And I now give you what will soon one day be, if I don't break this, delicious dark chocolate and crunchy cocoa pebbles. What happens when you take both of these and mix them all together and throw it into a candy bar? Today we're gonna find out. So last week, we talked about this candy bar right here. The Fruity Pebbles candy bar made by the Frankfurt Candy Company in collaboration with Post Cereals, AKA the makers of Fruity Pebbles. We looked at the candy bar, we tried the candy bar, and we made a better version of the candy bar. So today, we're gonna do the exact same thing, but with none other than Cocoa Pebbles. The Frankfurt Candy Company and Post once again teamed up and they made the Cocoa Pebbles candy bar. Now this candy bar is gonna be, if I had to guess, exactly like the Fruity Pebbles candy bar. The only difference, this one is milk chocolate. We are going to open that up, we're gonna taste test it, and we're going to make our very own version with our dark chocolate, because everything is better with dark chocolate in my opinion, and Cocoa Pebbles. We've got to see what we're up against. We pretty much did an exact replica of the Fruity Pebbles, but I'm not a huge milk chocolate fan. I'm not gonna hate on anybody that loves milk chocolate. I just prefer dark chocolate. So upon first look, this candy bar, it looks exactly like just any other normal candy bar. It's plain milk chocolate. If you were to just look at the top of this candy bar, you wouldn't look at it and think, oh, I bet that has Cocoa Pebbles in it. No, you would be like, oh, it's a candy bar. Then you flip it over and you're like, oh, well, it's a bumpy candy bar. What happened? I'll tell you what happened. They added Cocoa Pebbles to it. Let's just dive right in. Let's try this out. I've got to know if I can make something that's just as good, if not better. Because it's Cocoa Pebbles, it is a lot harder to see the pebbles in this. The Fruity Pebbles candy bar, they were bright, they were colorful, you could see it through the white chocolate. The Cocoa Pebbles, they are definitely a lot harder to see in the milk chocolate. Even on the edges, you don't really see them. I think it's gonna have some crunch because my experience with the previous one, the Fruity Pebbles, it had some crunch. So I have no reason to believe that this would be any different. It's milk chocolate, so kind of already has that working against it in my opinion. You might love milk chocolate, so you might be like, oh my God, yes, milk chocolate Cocoa Pebbles candy bar, get at me. But I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'll try it, and then I'll make it better. First take on this, it's chocolatey with like a little hint of crunch splattered throughout. Cocoa Pebbles, they're not giant pieces of cereal anyway. It's not like they took Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops are like big hunks of cereal. Do they even make chocolate Fruit Loops? No idea. If they don't, they should, right? That makes sense as to why the crunch in here is as small as it is. Even my dog is upset about how small the little crunchy pieces are. This candy bar, overall flavor-wise, so much better than the white chocolate Fruity Pebbles counterpart. Whatever it is, whether it's their white, imitation white, fake white, whatever you wanna call it, versus milk chocolate, I can believe that this is milk chocolate. This tastes like other milk chocolate that I have had. So I'm not gonna get all over this candy bar too much. This one's okay, but I do think that we can make it so much better because one, we're gonna use dark chocolate. Two, I'm gonna add like hella Cocoa Pebbles to this. Let's make our own version of this Cocoa Pebbles candy bar and we'll take what they did and we'll just like amplify it by like 1,000. So we've got our bowl of dark chocolate and we're gonna toss this in the microwave for 30 seconds at a time, get it heated to about 125 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we will add our cereal and we'll pour it into our mold. Since we're working with real dark chocolate, it does need to be heated to a certain temperature. You need to bring it up to about 125 degrees, 120 to be safe. You're probably wondering, why do I have to heat this to a certain temperature? Why can't I just get it melted? Once it's melted, so it must be hot enough, right? Wrong. That's not how any of this works. You have to heat chocolate, actual chocolate, to a certain temperature because of all of the sugar crystals and things that are on the inside of the chocolate that make it what it is. If you don't get that heated to the right temperature, when it sets up, it's not gonna have that nice like chocolate glossy shine. It's not gonna snap when you try to break it. Really gotta pay attention to the temperature. Now that our chocolate has come to a good working temperature, we're going to add our cereal in. Now, if you saw our first video with the Fruity Pebbles candy bar, you may remember that we made a candy bar where we took the chocolate and we poured it into the mold, then we basically backfilled with the cereal. It was okay, it worked, but it wasn't my favorite way of doing that. So what we're gonna do is the second way that we ended up making those candy bars, where we just stir the cereal in. And there's really not a right or wrong amount of cereal to add into this. Obviously, don't pour the entire box in. You still wanna be able to stir that chocolate and get it coated, but if it looks too runny, then go ahead and add a little bit more cereal. We don't really measure on this channel, we just do what feels right. And this feels like I need a little bit more. So this is not normal white cottage cheese. Now we're working with brown cottage cheese. It looks pretty gross, I'm not gonna lie, but it smells delicious. Just get a little bit more cereal in there. Just wet, mushy. I think that is a pretty good chocolate to cereal ratio. Let's go ahead and get this in our molds. Today we are using two different molds. We have the normal rectangular bar size that we used in the Fruity Pebbles video, and then we also have a smaller, more like bite size or fun size, if that's not a trademark term. Probably is. Tiny sized. We'll say it's tiny sized. And I'm just gonna take a big heaping spoonful here. In that first spot on the mold, kind of spread it out with your spoon. Try to keep it in the mold. Don't want it really heaping over. That's just gonna create more work at the end. This is like the ultimate chocolate candy bar experience. I even have candy on the back of my hand that I'm not even using. How did that happen? Fill it in all the way to the edges. Waste nothing, because it's gonna be delicious. Then, the fun part, tap it on your countertop. This helps to fill the mold all the way, and then it also helps to get those air bubbles out. And we're gonna pop it in the freezer. I think I've got too much bread in my freezer. All right. Okay, these are gonna be crispy and delicious. They're a little messy, but that's all right. We will trim them up when they're finished, so spreading out over the edges. Just go ahead and kind of push them back in. Find the edge. My voice changes a lot when I cook. Who am I? I am everyone. Yeah, good enough. Get those air bubbles out. Okay, pop this baby in the freezer if you have room. And we have just a little bit more left. So I'm gonna see if it's enough for this last mystery mold that I have, but we're gonna cut away. I don't want you to see that until we're finished. So we just took both of our molds out of the freezer. We've laid out some parchment paper just to kind of make it easier to pop these out of the molds, see how our finished product turned out, and then to catch any little chocolate crumbs that might pop out of the mold with those. As you can see, ours already looks way crispier. So let's pop this out. Super easy. From a side-by-side comparison, wonder which one's gonna be crunchier. Ding, 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 ours. I would bet money on that. Let's get these other 6 out. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Now these we filled a little bit fuller. See how we have that runoff right there? We're just gonna take a sharp knife and we're gonna get all of that cleaned up and cut those edges off. Or if you don't care about presentation, then by all means, leave it how it is. Everything looks great. I'm super stoked about these. Once again, just to remind those of you at home, the candy bar we were attempting to make, but better, we very clearly nailed it with our amped up, better version. So now the only thing left to do is to try it. This is kind of my favorite part. First of all, let's remember, look at all the cereal that's in ours. We didn't press it all down into the mold, so it's not bumpy on the front side, but the back, it's like, yes, yes, candy, yes, Cocoa Pebbles. Smells delicious. So much dark chocolate. Cocoa Pebbles, I mean, when they're added to milk, it just becomes chocolatey. So when added to chocolate, it's just gonna be chocolate to the extreme. I am so happy we made these in dark chocolate. I'm just gonna go ahead and eat half of that in one bite. Straight away, obviously it's a little different. Picture a Crunch Bar. This is like a distant relative of the Crunch Bar. If a Crunch Bar had a relative that they kind of forgot about and then they were reunited with them one day, they were like, oh yeah, hey buddy. That's what they would do. This is a Hey Buddy candy bar because you don't really remember its name, but you're like, yeah, you're there. I know your name, but like, hey buddy. That's what this thing is because it's very reminiscent of a Crunch Bar, but it's definitely not a Crunch Bar, but it has that like slight crunch to it from the Cocoa Pebbles. But then the Crunch Bar is just walking along and then it sees our candy bar and it's like, whoa, look at you, you're tasty, you're crunchy. This is like a Crunch Bar that like got married to a Crunch Bar and then had more Crunch Bars. And so it's like a family of Crunch Bars, but like all they do during the day is just like eat Cocoa Pebbles. So they just become crunchier. I'm gonna eat another one of these. These are so good. I'm telling you, if you are going to try to make these at home, do not hold back on the cereal because that crunch, that's where it's at. This is so good. And I ate lunch today and breakfast, but I'm still just gonna power through another one of these because holy shit, this is so good. We did it. We did it. Now, I have one last thing that I have to pop out. If you remember, we had a third mold. But before I pop that out, if you enjoyed this video, go like the video, go subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I don't know why you haven't. Clearly, this is a thing that we are gonna keep doing because holy moly, this is so good. I'm probably gonna keep all of these for myself and I might keep these other two for myself also. Won't need dinner because I'm having breakfast for dinner. That's what I'm having. Enough about me just like eating candy. We have this thing that we've kind of been working on. And because you're here and you're tuning in and you're showing up every week and you're just like, yes, Nicole, yes, we love your videos. We did subscribe, we did like the video. We even turned on that notification bell because we wanna know when you release another video because you're so good. And we follow you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, what is that? No one uses that. Doesn't matter, we're there. We're following everything that you do. So we are invested and we wanna know what this is. Well, let me show you. So we have taken just years of science and creativity and ingenuity and all the things, and we have put it into this one very thin sheet of plastic. And I now give you what will soon one day be, if I don't break this, the world's okayest candy bar. Get a look at that. Get a look at that. Once I trim it up, it's gonna look a lot better. Okay, don't worry, don't worry. But you guys, we're the world's okayest candy store, and now we have the world's okayest candy bar. And these things, they're gonna come in all kinds of different flavors. Okay, just give me a minute, because clearly I have more Cocoa Pebbles candy bars that I need to just like devour. But that's right, we're gonna be making our own candy bars in our special fancy mold that, look at me, you can't get this anywhere else. You can't, okay? We made this, so good luck, internet. Good luck trying to find that anywhere else. You can't. You gotta get it at our store. And where is that? The world's okayest candy store with the world's okayest candy bars. It's exciting, you're welcome. That towel was clean, but now it's on the floor, so it's dirty. I'm excited. Are you excited? Because holy candy bars, they're coming for you. Bye guys.